10 things that become meaningless. After 75, embracing peace and fulfillment in later life. Crossing the threshold of 75, I have reached a profound sense of calm and peace I had never fully experienced before. Time no longer feels like the endless flow I vaguely imagined in my youth. Now each passing day is a precious gift. The concerns that once dominated my life career, reputation, and the opinions of others have faded into distant memories. I have come to understand that life is no longer an endless race to achieve far-off goals. Instead, I choose to slow down, savoring each breath and every small but meaningful moment. At this stage of life, I find immense value in the simplest things: a quiet morning watching sunlight filter through the trees, a peaceful afternoon with a warm cup of tea, or the joyful laughter of my grandchildren. These moments have taught me that true happiness comes not from external sources, but from peace and acceptance within. I no longer feel the need to chase any standards set by others. Now I live for myself, respecting my own boundaries and needs. I allow myself to let go of what is no longer necessary, moving forward with lightness and grace on this new journey, one guided by stillness, freedom, and deep gratitude for life itself. Worrying about the opinions of others. After turning 75, I realized that worrying about what others think is an unnecessary burden. In the past, I lived to please everyone, family, friends, colleagues, always fearful of judgment and criticism. I constantly tried to maintain a perfect image in others' eyes. Whenever I faced failure, I felt the crushing weight of people's opinions, trapping me in shame and self-doubt. I used to believe that validation from others was the measure of my worth. But as time passed, I discovered that this mindset only exhausted me, pulling me further away from my true self. Now I understand that the opinions of others neither can nor should determine my life. Everyone views the world through their own lens, and what they think of me is a reflection of their own values and experiences. What truly matters is living authentically, aligned with the values I hold dear. I have learned to reject unrealistic expectations, let go of unnecessary concerns, and focus on relationships and experiences that bring me peace. The sense of freedom that comes from releasing this pressure is wonderfully light. I no longer fear meaningless remarks or judgments. Instead, I cherish the simple moments sipping my morning tea or listening to birdsong outside my window, finding stillness within my soul. At this age, I see clearly that true happiness doesn't come from how others perceive me, but from accepting and loving myself just as I am. Accumulating material possessions. At 75, along with letting go of worries about others' opinions, I've also realized that accumulating too many material possessions has gradually lost its meaning. In my younger years, I believed that owning more would bring a sense of security and happiness. Cars, a spacious home, and a closet full of clothes once symbolized my success and hard work. I kept buying, collecting, and holding on to items I thought I might need someday. However, over time, I noticed that these possessions only cluttered my home and my mind, leaving me mentally drained from managing them all. Now, I've embarked on a journey of simplifying my life. I no longer cling to outdated or unused belongings. Each time I let go of an item, it feels as though a weight has been lifted from my soul, like a gentle breeze clearing a room filled with stagnant air. Freeing up physical space has also made way for mental clarity, allowing me to welcome new memories and experiences. I've come to understand that happiness isn't found in the things accumulated over the years. It lies in the simple moments spent with loved ones, in the tranquility of observing nature, and in the quiet stillness that I'm gradually learning to appreciate each day. Letting go has brought me peace and a deeper connection to what truly matters in life. Maintaining social obligations that no longer bring joy. After realizing the futility of accumulating material possessions, I also came to understand that social obligations and relationships no longer carry the same meaning as before. In the past, I used to maintain a packed schedule filled with gatherings, events, and parties. I worried that if I didn't show up, someone might feel hurt or see me as uncaring. However, sacrificing my time and energy for these obligations only left me exhausted, and at times feeling lonely even in a crowd. Many conversations became shallow and lacked meaning, often serving only to please others. Now, at 75, I have learned to say no to events that no longer bring true joy. I no longer feel guilty for declining invitations that don't align with my mood or health. Instead, I prioritize genuine relationships, meaningful conversations, and moments where I can truly be myself. Quiet afternoons spent with close friends or peaceful moments sipping tea in my garden have become far more valuable than attending large social gatherings. Choosing meaningful connections has brought me a sense of peace. I live at a slower pace now, fully appreciating each moment without being caught up in the whirlwind of social pressures. This simplicity and tranquility are among the greatest gifts of growing older. Life feels lighter and more purposeful when guided by the relationships and experiences that genuinely nourish my spirit. Chasing society's standards of beauty. After letting go of unnecessary social obligations, I gradually realized that chasing society's standards of beauty is equally meaningless. In my younger years, I was burdened by the pressure to maintain a flawless appearance. Smooth skin, a toned body, and shiny hair. Magazine covers and advertisements constantly reinforced the message that beauty was synonymous with youth and perfection. I too worried about the first signs of wrinkles and graying hair, fearing they would make me look old in the eyes of others. However, as time passed, I began to understand that true beauty lies not in outward appearance, but in inner confidence and peace. Each wrinkle on my face tells a story, a reminder of the challenges and achievements I have endured. Every silver strand in my hair is a testament to the valuable experiences and lessons I've gathered throughout my life. I no longer feel the need to hide or escape these natural signs of aging. Instead, I've learned to embrace and cherish them as an integral part of who I am. Now I feel a sense of relief, freed from the exhausting effort to meet unrealistic beauty standards. I live with greater freedom, focusing on keeping my spirit bright, full of kindness, empathy, and understanding. That is the kind of enduring beauty that truly touches the holding on to activities that no longer bring fulfillment. After letting go of societal beauty standards, I realized that some activities that once brought joy have now become burdensome and meaningless. In my youth, I maintained routines and hobbies that I loved, such as attending weekly gatherings or playing sports with friends. These activities used to fill me with excitement and a sense of connection. However, over time, they began to lose their significance as they no longer aligned with my current pace of life. Aging has brought physical and mental changes that I can no longer ignore. Some activities that once energized me now leave me feeling drained rather than fulfilled. Long social events or physically demanding hobbies no longer provide the satisfaction they once did. I had to learn that not everything is meant to be held on to forever. Clinging to activities that no longer suit me only adds stress and disrupts the peace I've worked hard to cultivate. Instead, I have started to explore gentler yet equally meaningful experiences. I spend more time going for walks, tending to the small garden in my yard, or simply enjoying a favorite book. These quiet moments bring a sense of calm and allow me to reconnect deeply with myself. Letting go of outdated activities isn't a loss, but rather an opportunity to embrace new, enriching experiences that are more aligned with this stage of life and the joy of spending meaningful time with my family. Tolerating toxic relationships. After letting go of activities that no longer bring joy, I also realized that I no longer need to hold on to toxic, negative relationships. In my younger years, I tried to maintain every connection, believing that keeping all relationships intact was the key to a meaningful life. I endured criticism, broken promises, and relationships that drained me, simply because I thought doing so would prevent loneliness. However, at this stage of life, I understand that not all relationships are worth keeping. Those who constantly criticize, create tension, or take advantage of my kindness only add unnecessary burdens to my life. Over time, I have learned to let go of unhealthy connections, creating space for more positive and nurturing relationships. These are the friends who encourage, understand, and respect me, those whose conversations bring joy, comfort, and a sense of being valued. Letting go of people who disrupt your mental and emotional balance is not selfish. It is an act of self-love. By freeing myself from negative relationships, I found that I could better focus on the people who genuinely care for me, those who bring peace and simple, yet precious, happiness to my life. This shift has allowed me to embrace deeper, more fulfilling connections that truly uplift and support my well-being. Comparing yourself to others. After letting go of toxic relationships, I realized that one of the deepest sources of insecurity was comparing myself to others. Throughout my life, I often fell into the cycle of comparison, comparing my success to that of friends, my possessions, my career, and even the happiness within my family. These comparisons would leave me feeling inadequate or not good enough. However, at this age, I have come to understand that everyone has their own unique journey, and no one can live another person's life for them. Comparing myself to others only diminished the value of my own achievements. I have faced many challenges, gained invaluable experiences, and accomplished small but meaningful milestones. Each moment of joy and every success, no matter how modest, is worth celebrating. I've learned that there is no universal formula for happiness or success. What brings fulfillment to one person may hold no significance for another. Since I stopped comparing myself to others, my life has become much lighter. I now appreciate myself more and no longer feel burdened by the need to reach some ideal standard. My journey is uniquely mine, and I have found peace by living authentically according to my values and choices. True contentment, I've discovered, comes from honoring who I am and embracing the life I've created. Clinging to outdated goals. After letting go of comparisons, I realized that many of my life goals had become outdated. The dreams that once drove me in my youth, achieving success, accumulating wealth, and gaining social status, no longer hold the same allure at this stage of my life. I no longer feel the desire to climb the ladder of prestige or amass more possessions. Instead, I've begun to prioritize what truly matters to me now. Old goals have gradually been replaced by new values, inner peace, deep connections with family and friends, and the joy found in simple, everyday experiences. Rather than chasing distant ambitions, I find happiness in caring for my health, reading a good book, or admiring flowers blooming in my garden. These quiet, peaceful moments bring me a sense of fulfillment that grand achievements never could. Letting go of goals that no longer serve me doesn't mean I've given up on dreaming. Rather, I'm reshaping my priorities to focus on what is genuinely meaningful today. I no longer obsess over the things I haven't accomplished. Instead, I embrace gratitude and cherish the simple yet precious aspects of life. This mindset shift has brought me a deep sense of contentment, allowing me to live fully in the present. Feeling guilty for prioritizing your own happiness. After letting go of outdated goals, I came to a more important realization. I no longer need to feel guilty for prioritizing my own happiness. For decades, I lived for others, caring for my family, fulfilling responsibilities at work, and maintaining social relationships. While these sacrifices once brought me joy, they also drained the energy and time I needed to care for myself. At this stage of life, I now understand that putting myself first is not selfish. It's essential for maintaining both physical and mental well-being. Now I give myself permission to enjoy the things that make me happy without being bound by guilt. It might be a peaceful morning spent reading with a cup of coffee, an afternoon walk in the sunshine, or even a day of doing absolutely nothing. These moments help me recharge and allow me to be fully present with my loved ones. When I live with tranquility and joy, those around me also feel the positive effects. Letting go of guilt and choosing to live for myself has been a turning point, enabling me to truly appreciate each day. This is the precious gift that turning 75 has given me the freedom to live a full, meaningful, and peaceful life on my own terms. Don't feel guilty about prioritizing personal happiness. Throughout my life, I dedicated myself to others, caring for family, fulfilling work responsibilities, and maintaining relationships. I often felt guilty for spending time on myself, thinking it was selfish. Even small pleasures like reading or taking a walk seemed like indulgences. But over time, I learned that constantly giving without nurturing myself left me drained and unable to be fully present for those I loved. At 75, I have finally let go of that guilt. I now understand that prioritizing my own happiness is essential for my well-being. Setting boundaries and saying no to obligations that no longer bring me joy wasn't easy. I worried that others might judge me as uncaring, but I realized that self-care is an act of strength, not selfishness. By embracing moments of peace, whether savoring a morning coffee, tending to my garden, or enjoying a quiet walk, I found renewed joy and calm. This shift has enriched my relationships. I'm more present and emotionally available for my loved ones. Our time together feels deeper and more meaningful. I no longer deplete myself trying to meet every expectation. Instead, I choose connections and experiences that uplift and fulfill me. Quality, not quantity, has become my focus. I've also freed myself from societal pressures to prove or achieve more. I no longer chase perfection or feel the need to live up to others' standards. I live according to what brings me peace and fulfillment. Simple joys like quiet reflection, nurturing hobbies, and heartfelt conversations have become the core of my happiness. Letting go of guilt has transformed my life. I've learned that my happiness matters and that I can give more to others when I care for myself first. Living authentically has brought a profound sense of peace. Life is no longer a race to meet endless demands. It's a journey of savoring each precious moment. The greatest lesson I've learned is this: you cannot pour from an empty cup. To truly be there for others, you must first nurture your own well-being. At 75, I have embraced this truth and found a freedom I never knew: a life centered on joy, peace, and self-compassion. Life lessons. After turning 75, reflecting on the journey I've walked, I've realized that living fully after 75 means letting go of things that no longer hold meaning and focusing on the values that truly matter. Worrying about the opinions of others, clinging to material possessions, tolerating toxic relationships, or chasing outdated expectations, all of these burdens become unnecessary to carry. It's only by choosing peace, stillness, and happiness as my guiding principles that I have found true freedom. Life is no longer a race, but a journey of savoring each precious moment. I have learned to love myself, cherish deep relationships, and live authentically according to my values. This is the greatest lesson. Have the courage to let go of what no longer serves you, creating space for peace, joy, and true meaning in every day that remains.